This is our Autism and AAC project for COMD 4755 on the TEACCH Autism Program.
TEACCH stands for Treatment and Education of Autistic and Related Communication Handicapped Children. TEACCH is an educational, evidence-based approach to intervention for children and is often implemented in a classroom setting. This approach is client-based, meaning it emphasizes the learning needs of each child with autism spectrum disorder. TEACCH incorporates the child's daily routines, utilizes visual supports, and includes individualized strategies. This program encourages independence and the development of social skills. It also provides caregiver, therapist, and educator support. TEACCH helps educators to learn classroom organization, incorporate visual aids, and the importance of consistent daily routines. TEACCH promotes the importance of structured learning environments and emphasizes how crucial it is to incorporate visual learning for children with different disabilities. TEACCH helps therapists encourage the use of functional communication. It helps parents conduct at-home assessments, provide individualized support for their child, and implement supports to increase their child's independence.
TEACCH uses 5 key principles for the implementation of intervention, which includes physical structure, consistent schedules, establishment of expectations, maintenance of a routine, and implementation of visually based cues.
Physical structure refers to the child's surroundings and environment. This principle helps educators, caregivers, and therapists to create an environment that incorporates clear boundaries, minimizes auditory and visual distractions, and instills a unique organizational system that will support the individual needs of the child. Each physical structure will have its own function. Learning spaces will be exclusively for reading, such as a reading corner or a writing station. Similarly, a crash pad will be exclusive to a sensory area. Physical structures benefit the child by increasing organization, making the environment more predictable, visual communication of expectations of the environment, visual direction, and reduction of distraction and anxiety.
A physical structure may include square mats on the floor of a classroom, which provide clear physical boundaries and an outline for students on where they should sit during lesson time. Another common example of physical structure is desk dividers, which help minimize distractions by providing a visual barrier, personal boundaries, and structural organization. It is essential for educators implementing TEACCH to have an organized classroom to help communicate expectations to students with disabilities.
The next principle, consistent schedules, refers to the consistency in the timing of events and can be established through verbal communication, written communication, drawings, and pictures. Children with ASD often struggle with transitions and schedule changes. A consistent schedule helps the child gain independence, learn time management skills, and helps reassure the child of what activity is next.
A physical daily school schedule and an at-home morning/evening schedule are consistent and communicate what is next in the routine. The ultimate goal of this principle is to help the child to accept subtle changes in their routines and to learn flexibility.
The third principle, establishing expectations, helps to establish expectations in different areas to prepare a child to complete functional, independent work. Expectations must be behavioral, activity-based, academic, or for communication. Clear expectations help the child to understand consequences or changes when the set expectations are not met. This principle includes activity measurements. The ultimate goal of this principle is to prepare a child for independent work and functioning.
A social story about being a good friend uses simple language and step-by-step examples to teach children about play expectations.
Maintenance of a routine, the fourth principle, is setting up and maintaining a routine because, as previously stated, children with ASD thrive off of consistency. A routine can be set up in any setting, not just at home. This will involve the caregivers, educators, and therapists working together to stay with a consistent routine to the best of their ability.
There are many items that can help to maintain a routine, like keeping a list of steps the child needs to complete a task, creating a schedule for the child, consistency, and the usage of timers or alarms to signal when the schedule has begun and when it is ended.
The fifth principle, implementation of visually based cues, helps to implement verbal information from the educator, caregiver, or therapist to the child. Visual information can be written on paper, from a computer, a drawing, or graphics. Visual information is especially beneficial for children with ASD who are non-speaking.
Visuals can be used for any reason. They can be used to go over expectations as reminders or to display basic emotions.
For the implementation of TEACCH, intervention is client-based and assessment-driven, strength-driven, and system-sensitive. This approach considers how the disability affects the individual, it considers the child's strengths and coping mechanisms, and it is sensitive to each family, community, and their cultural needs and values. The TEACCH approach is often implemented in inclusive settings, which include both typically developing children with disabilities. TEACCH helps to promote functional learning by incorporating each child's interests into the intervention.
TEACCH is beneficial for children with ASD, other disabilities, caregivers, educators, and therapists. TEACCH helps children to become more independent and to develop social skills. This approach helps caregivers to provide individualized support to their children at home and how to assess their child's needs. TEACCH helps teachers to organize their classroom and implement visual aids. Finally, this approach helps therapists to structure an individualized therapy for children with ASD and provides the tools to foster independence, communication, and a supportive learning environment.